Welcome everyone, this is Andre's Restart, and today we have a bit of a quick video, but something I've been wanting to talk about since we got the Nintendo Direct just a few days ago. And that's that we're likely getting even more remasters and remakes and enhanced ports over the next couple years for Nintendo Switch. This is the current lineup of Nintendo published titles for 2024. Another Code Recollection, a remaster collection. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, a remake of a Game Boy Advance game. Princess Peach Showtime, an original game. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, a remaster. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, an advanced remaster or remake. 80% of the known titles that are coming out in 2024 that are being published by Nintendo are some type of remaster or remake. And then when we look at the Nintendo published titles for 2023, we have Prime Remastered, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Advance Wars 1-2 Reboot Camp, Pikmin 1 and 2, and Super Mario RPG. That's about half of Nintendo's total lineup for 2023, and it's some form of a remake or remaster. We've been getting a lot of remakes and remasters throughout the generation, but the ratio for 2023 is about half, and in 2024 it's looking to be even greater. What this is reminding me of is the end of the 3DS generation. That last year of 3DS before Switch, and those 2 years of 3DS during Switch before it was phased out, between 2016 and 2019. It was abundant with remasters, demakes, remakes, a whole bunch of games of that sort. Now what I'm getting at here is that yes, the Switch is winding down, we are preparing for the Switch 2. But I don't say that in a negative way. What I'm getting at is that we have a whole bunch of remasters and remakes to look forward to. Nintendo is likely doing this so they can prepare a lot of strong entries for the early years of Switch 2, but also so they can continue to give us high quality games almost every single month, not just leading into Switch 2, but for a few years after Switch 2 releases. They want the Switch, the original Switch, to stay relevant for some time to come. I believe Nintendo is absolutely aiming for Switch to become the best-selling system of all time, and it's getting there. So while we have been getting a lot of remasters and remakes, I definitely think we're getting more. I think that rumor from a while back from Emily Rogers saying that a lot of GameCube games are on the way, that's proving to be even more true with the recent announcement of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, which looks amazing, and I don't think Nintendo is stopping here. So I got 10 likely remasters in mind for Nintendo Switch, and that's what we're focusing on today. But before going forward, let me point out that we are aiming to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. With your help, it just might be possible. So something that's been rumored but hasn't been announced yet is Metroid Prime 2 Remastered. Jeff Grubb told us about Metroid Prime 1 Remastered, and he had initially predicted it would come out in the holiday of 2022. He was wrong, it came out in the beginning of 2023. And what we're seeing from Jeff Grubb is that his sources are pretty much always correct in terms of the content, but the timing is always tough to pinpoint in terms of when it will actually be announced and released. So with that all said, he has recently said that Prime 2 is supposed to come soon. It wasn't announced in the most recent Direct, but with Metroid Prime 4 likely coming out next year from what we've heard behind the scenes, I do believe Prime 2 is probably going to come fairly soon. And if we're going to get Prime 2, and because we already have Prime 1, odds are we're also going to get Prime 3. So I'm expecting both of those to release on Nintendo Switch sometime in 2024. But we'll see how things shake out. Another game that seems to make a lot of sense to come to Nintendo Switch is some type of remaster of the original Luigi's Mansion. Now, this was one of those games that came out in the late part of the 3DS life cycle. They remade or demade Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. But with Luigi's Mansion 3 having so much success on Nintendo Switch, and Luigi's Mansion 2 now coming to Nintendo Switch sometime next year, it would be kind of odd to not complete the trilogy and get the original on the Switch. So I'm expecting Luigi's Mansion 1 to come as well. I'm not thinking that they'll give it a full remake, but I think there's a pretty good chance we could see a pretty nice upscale with some decent quality of life updates, kind of like what we saw for Pikmin 1 and 2, coming out at some point on Switch, maybe close to release for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I think there's a really good chance it will come. Now, something else that may not actually be published by Nintendo, but I do think has a pretty good chance to come to Switch, is a remaster of Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil is an Ubisoft game, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in development for some time. We don't know when that will release. I expect it will probably come out sometime during the Switch 2 era and come to Switch alongside PS5 and the Xbox Series. But before that releases, I would expect Ubisoft to remaster Beyond Good and Evil and put it out on the Nintendo Switch. Potentially Switch 2, but given that it would be a remaster of a GameCube title, I think it would make a lot of sense to get it out on Switch. Now, something that I've lost a little bit of hope for recently is Kid Icarus Uprising, because Sakurai has talked about this game getting ported to Switch several times, but the most recent time, the way it was sort of said, it didn't sound like it was in development. But he has expressed an interest in getting it done several times. So while it may not be coming out this year, I think before the end of Nintendo Switch, there's a fantastic chance Kid Icarus Uprising will be remastered and redone, and it will probably be pretty amazing. These remasters and remakes don't take as much time, which is why we're seeing a lot of them during this transitional phase, so Nintendo can ease up the development load for their newer projects. And one of those new projects that I'm very excited about is the new IP from Monolith Soft that's been in development for pretty much the entire Switch generation. This is almost certainly a Switch 2 title, but Monolith Soft has consistently given us games on the Switch. We've gotten Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we've gotten the physical release of the DLC Torn of the Golden Country, we've gotten Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition that had the epilogue story in Future Connected, and most recently we got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and its DLC Future Redeemed. Monolith Soft has given us a lot to enjoy on the Switch. But with so much Xenoblade on the Switch, it's kind of odd that they haven't added this one particular Xenoblade game. The only other Xenoblade game that's not on the Switch is Xenoblade Chronicles X, one of the best games on Wii U. It's one of the last few Wii U games that has not been ported over. I think Xenoblade X will come to Nintendo Switch, and I think it would be an ideal game to get on Switch so it can still be a major title for a lot of people who haven't played it. Speaking of Wii U ports though, I still think Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD will also be coming to Nintendo Switch in the not so distant future. They have been rumored for a long time. Andy Robinson from Video Games Chronicle a while back said that they're absolutely coming to Switch. It's simply been a while. And when it comes to these things, talking about these rumored games that are coming from good sources that we can trust, oftentimes we don't know how long it's going to take. Even the series producer of Zelda, Eiji Aonuma, teased Skyward Sword HD years before it came out. Sometimes it just takes a while. And I think with the delay for Tears of the Kingdom from 2022 to 2023, Nintendo simply decided it made more sense to just wait a few months for Tears of the Kingdom to give us that Zelda hype for the large Zelda fan base, and save Twilight Princess and Wind Waker to help bridge the gap between Tears of the Kingdom and the next big major Zelda, which is likely going to take a few years. So I do think they're coming, and I do think they will come to Switch given the large audience and the strong demand. It's just going to take a bit of time, but within the next couple years, I absolutely expect that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker will be on Nintendo Switch. Now, a remaster that I'm very excited about that also has been rumored, that I think has a strong chance of also coming, is F-Zero GX Remastered. We talked about it yesterday in a dedicated F-Zero video, talking about F-Zero 99, how that seems to be reviving the IP. F-Zero 99 is a free game, and that's getting a lot more people into the series. They're building up a bit of an audience here, and I think they're prepping the fan base for an F-Zero GX remaster. I go into more detail on this in the video from yesterday, so you can check that out after this one, but yes, I do think it's coming at some point or another. Of course, it's just a rumor, so we'll see. Now, the final game that I have in mind that I do think is likely to come to Switch at some point is Super Mario Galaxy 2. With 3D All-Stars on Switch giving us Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, with 3D World and Bowser's Fury and Mario Odyssey on the Switch, there is just one major 3D Mario game that's come out on home consoles that isn't on the Switch, and that is Mario Galaxy 2, and it's a fantastic game. I don't think it's going to be announced within the next few months because of all the other Mario goodness that has come around, but I do think before the end of the Switch era, we will see Galaxy 2 on the system. And those are 10 likely remasters to come to Nintendo Switch, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.